Royals on a historic rise, recapping the Royal season so far on a special episode of Royal Roundtable. All that and more coming up on Boot Room 801. Welcome back to the Boot Room, everyone. My name is Giles, and I'm joined as always by my co-host and wife, Kayla.
Hey!
Today we're dedicating an entire episode to the Utah Royals. Later this week we'll have our midseason recap for Real Salt Lake, but today is all about the remarkable turnaround we've seen from the Royals. To start off, Kayla, if I told you before the season that Utah would be sitting in the top 5 of the NWSL in late July, would you have believed it?
Absolutely not. The way that towards the end of last season, you could see the potential, but there still were a lot of things that needed to be ironed out. There were a lot of things that needed to be fixed, and they took the offseason and ran with it. And it's quite the historic rise. I feel like it's monumental, and it's exciting to be able to see.
Yeah, I did not have super high expectations. I had high hopes.
Yeah.
But my expectations weren't super high.
Being the bottom of the table both years in a row is really hard to be excited about. But They did everything they could to make you excited.
And they did a lot of work, and hats off to the front office, the coaching staff, and the players themselves. They have put in so much work, and it shows. It shows in the chemistry that's on the field, and it shows off the field as well. This team is gelling. Mm-hmm. And sure, there have been hiccups along the way, but there have been some incredible moments so far. Kayla, what do you think have been your biggest surprises, other than the fact that we went from bottom to the top?
A 10-game unbeaten streak is pretty phenomenal. That was definitely a huge surprise. I think 4 out of the 5 games were complete shutouts. Or 4 out of those 10 games were shutouts in a row. Mm-hmm. But honestly, like you said, the gelling of the team. There's not one player that stands out more than another. They all work together. They all work to succeed and work to help each other succeed. And you see that, and it's making it powerful.
Yeah, it's really been fun to watch. The matches have been so much fun. But I'm so glad to have had a fun World Cup to watch, but glad to be back with our local clubs and watching soccer in person.
Agreed.
Would you say that maybe the Utah Royals have maybe arrived ahead of schedule?
I don't think so. I think that they showed what they're worth, and they showed that they are a contender, and that you can't count them out. And so I think Jimmy said it best in the last conference, that this team has already hit rock bottom before. We know what rock bottom looks like. We can only go up from here. And so the number one thing is, yes, we would love to be number one, but if we get into playoffs contention, that's higher than we've ever been, and that's more than enough to get excited about.
Before we get back to the episode, make sure you're following Boot Room 801 on social media for the latest Utah soccer news, match day coverage, photos, videos, and more. You can also find all of our articles and content at bootroom801.com. And if you're enjoying the show, follow the podcast on your favorite podcast platform and take a moment to leave us a rating and review. It helps more Utah soccer fans discover the show. The best way you can support us is by sharing this episode with a friend, a family member, or anyone else who loves the beautiful game here in Utah. Now let's get back to the show. So Kayla, how did we get here? Walk us through the season so far.
It kind of almost starts with last season. Last season, we had a lot of really close calls. We had quite a few unbeaten games again. We ended the season on a win. And then we went into the off season at the end of the season. And there were a lot of big changes. There were a lot of players that we released. There were a lot of players that we signed during that time. And so we did the team did a lot of work to get ready for this season, because they knew that we didn't want to be on the bottom anymore. So we come in opening day against Kansas City in Kansas City, and we lost 2-1. Okay, a little hard, but we're able to kind of bounce back from that, hopefully. Right before that, Mandy was actually injured, and so we didn't have our normal goalkeeper. Paige was injured in the offseason. There were a couple other injuries that we were kind of waiting to get back. And so that, and it's their first game all together, kind of knocking the rust off.
A lot of things all happening at one time.
Yeah, and then the very second game was a home game, and we lost 2-1. So we're like, oh no, it's all starting over again. It's all coming over again. But then 4 days later, we go to Washington Spirit in Gillette Stadium, which is really hard to win in, and we tied. We have never tied Washington Spirit in Gillette Stadium, ever. And so I think that kind of clicked for the team to be like, oh, hey, we got this. And then they played Boston Legacy, the new team, and they won. And that's when, and the Washington is really what turned the point. And then the win against Boston Legacy really took off for that whole winning streak. And I was wrong. We actually had 5 shutouts in a row.
And that started with Boston?
No, it started with the Chicago Stars right afterwards at home.
Mm.
And
so that moment in Boston, what do you think made that such a turning point for the team where they lose 2, tie 1, and then get a win? How important was that for the club, you think?
It's huge because you're not only knocking the rust off, you're not only getting back in the groove, you're not only finding your gel with your team and your players, but you're doing it away. You have to think about it. We only had 1 home game at that time. 4 games, 1 home game. All the rest were away. We lost 1, tied 1, and then we win 1. And that tells the women, that tells the players, hey, we got this. We can do this. And then it snowballed from there. And players started getting healthy again. And players started connecting. The Anatahata and Narumi junction. Tatum Milazzo and Kate Del Fava. I cannot talk enough praise for Kate Del Fava. And the work that she's done off season, the power that she brings within those 5 games shutouts, that was also with 2 different keepers. It was Mia Justice and Mandy McGlynn, because Mandy McGlynn was coming from a broken finger from the women's national team. Mm-hmm. To have 2 goalies be able to have shutouts in a row
kind of shows you that depth that the Royals have at that position.
Yeah. And it was cool too because in one of the press conferences, I talked to them about a shutout, and Mandy was so awesome. She was like, "It's not just me; it's the defense." And then Kaylee Reel was like, "It's not just the defense; it's also the offense. It's a whole team." And throughout the entire time that we've talked with them, with Jimmy or with any of the players, they all talk about how they're all here for each other. They've got each other's back, and Jimmy put it best when he said, it's really hard to win against 11 players. Because if you're have like a really flashy player, yeah, you have one really, really good player. But if you don't build around them, then you only have that one player to depend on.
And even a handful of really spectacular players.
But we
saw that with the World Cup final. They had Argentina has some fantastic players, but when you bank everything on one little core of 2, 3, maybe even 4 players, all your opponent has to do is contain them, and it shuts it down entirely, and you go a full 90 minutes without a shot.
Yeah. We have 9 different goal scorers on this team.
That's incredible.
9. Chloe has 5. Mina has 4. Palacios, Narumi, Tatum, and Cece and Laura all have 2. And then Courtney and Paige each have 1. How do you defend against 9 different goal scorers?
Yeah, and it shows that they're not relying on one person to provide every opportunity.
And Tatum Milazzo is the center back and has 2. Narumi is the defensive mid and has 2. So you're not only focusing on the attacking third, you're focusing on the entire team that can score goals.
Yeah, so we get that win in Boston, and then we come back home. We talked about it a little bit already. We kind of alluded to it. Then there's the Chicago game, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the one at home.
And how did that one shake out?
It was a 1-0 win, which is really impressive because Chicago Stars has always been a hard one for us to beat.
Mm-hmm.
But Tanaka got a penalty, and we still got a shutout. It's kind of a hard win, but we still won. And so it shows that it's possible. The other game that was super big was the one right after Chicago, actually. And that's the one where we played against Seattle Reign in Seattle. We have never won in Seattle. Ever. Last iteration of Royals or this one. We beat them 3-0.
That's just insane.
And so that's when it was like, oh my gosh, this is actually possible. And they ended this first half of the season on a tie against Portland Thorns in Portland, which is really hard to play at. And so for them to tie was really impressive. And so then we went for 2 months. And Mina gets a little bit of a knock in the Japanese national team. Some of our other girls get called up, and there's also a break. So 45 days of not playing against anyone, and that's really hard to play. So we went back to Chicago, and they beat us 3-2. And then we lost to Gotham at home 3-1. And so at first you're like, oh my gosh, it's two losses again. We're going to get into this. It's going to be really hard.
But there was a pattern established at the beginning of the season. 2 losses and then a momentum shift.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened again against Orlando Pride last week. And I think Mandy talked about it right before when they were talking about everyone talks about, like, one of the fun things that she talked about was her emotional neutrality of being able to be like, okay, that sucked, but now it's the next moment, and being able to move forward with that. And she had talked about it, and Jimmy had both talked about it after that loss against Gotham City or Gotham FC, that this team has already lost before. They know how to lose, but they also know how to win. And that's dangerous. I think I alluded to it earlier. This team has already hit rock bottom. They know what rock bottom feels like. And they don't want to be there again.
Mm-hmm. But not only do they know rock bottom, they know how to bounce back from rock bottom.
Exactly.
As you said, they know how to lose. They also know how to win. They've been on both sides of the coin. And now going forward, like, if you have a team that always wins, the second they encounter some adversity, they tend to fall apart. Mm-hmm. We saw that again in other World Cup teams, where as soon as they encountered adversity, they collapsed. But with the Royals, they know how to handle that adversity. They have been forged in it. The bonds that we see on the pitch are created through times of adversity and working through it and gelling anyway.
Yeah. And the Orlando Pride one was another really big game because we were going up against Barbara Banda. Barbara Banda is the Golden Boot contender this year. She has 12 goals by herself. Mm-hmm. She's incredible. It's really hard to beat her. And yet Tatum did not let her have that ball for more than 2 seconds the entire game.
I don't think she registered a shot, did she?
She didn't. No, she didn't register a single shot. And so you see once again what Jimmy was talking about. Orlando Pride has Barbara Banda, and that's about it. Utah Royals has 11 plus the entire bench to fall back on, and we win.
Mm-hmm. And there are some great players on Orlando Pride, but the system is not designed around them.
No.
And that's their failing, is they have put all of their eggs in one basket. And like what you've been saying with Jimmy talking about how it's very hard to beat 11 players. And we see from how many goal scorers that the Royals have this year, the eggs are in many baskets. There's danger on on the field, no matter what direction you're coming from, no matter where the ball is building from, the Royals are dangerous. And we saw in the Orlando Pride match that shot from Narumi.
Mm-hmm.
That was, they were not expecting it.
No.
They weren't expecting Narumi to take the shot.
No.
Narumi knew that there were players in the box. She talked about it in the press conference that she knew there were players in the box. And so she thought, why not take a shot?
Yeah.
Because even if it goes wide, there's people there.
Exactly.
And so she takes the shot. And having that confidence of knowing if it goes wide, I've got people I can trust.
And that's built off the field.
Yeah. And that gives her the confidence to try that. And where else are you seeing a defensive midfielder just perfectly lob a ball over the goalkeeper and just arcing it just out of her reach where there's nothing she can do about it, but doing it with confidence, knowing that the team is not going to get after her. If it goes wide, there's somebody there to help clean it up. And if it goes over, there's still going to be support because, hey, you had an opportunity, you tried it, and the team trusts you.
Yeah. And that's built so much off the pitch. It's built so much off the field. And Mandy was talking about this in the last game, in the win against Orlando, that we talked about, like, what are some of the things that they do. And they have, like, movie nights at her house, or they have, like, they go and hang out together, or they learn together on the field, and they have lunch and breakfast together so that they're always together, always learning, always figuring each other out so that they can trust each other. Because that trust isn't just built just from playing ball. You can play soccer with anyone. Doesn't mean you're going to trust them, but you can trust someone and play ball with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's so impressive to watch. I love seeing a team gel so well. I love seeing Mandy adding to the legacy of incredible keepers that we've seen at America First Field over the years. It's really just been a privilege to watch and such a refreshing breath of fresh air after the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's always harder to keep positive and to be excited when the losses are stacking up.
Yeah.
But they got through that adversity, and now we get to enjoy it with them.
Yeah. It's nice to see players like Kate and Paige and Mandy, who have been here since the very, very beginning, who had to go through those really, really hard struggles of losing as much as they did, and to see the effort that they have been putting into their time finally paying off. I mean, each of the ones that I just mentioned, like Kate is a U23 U.S. women's team member just recently. Mandy has had multiple caps for the women's national team. Mina Tanaka, we have these great names, and it didn't quite show it yet because they didn't have the right system, and now they have the right system. They have the right coach. They have the right support to be able to shine. Not just do well, but to shine and to succeed and to do amazing.
So looking at the matches that we've seen so far, which match do you think kind of best represents this team and what we have come to expect from the Royals?
That is a good question. There's a couple that come to mind, and I've mentioned them before. One of them is the Seattle Reign game, where we beat them 3-1. 3-0. And we had the confidence to beat Seattle in Seattle. We had the confidence to say, hey, this is what we can do. That's also when Mia Justice was injured and out and Mandy was put in. Mm-hmm. That's also when...
That's another good thing to point out and talk about. Not only is there depth at goalkeeper, both goalkeepers have been injured at some point in this season.
Yeah.
And still achieving this level of performance. I mean, the biggest mar on their record is the last 3 games before the Orlando match when there was I think 8 goals scored in 3 games.
Yeah.
So there's that little hiccup, but even still, you're sitting at 7-3-4, and both your keepers have been injured at some point. So you're relying on not only your starter but your backup. And even with a hiccup like that, you're still having a great season.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the second game that I'm going to mention is I've talked about it before, is that Utah Royals Orlando Pride game that we just had, because it was not a pretty game. There were a lot of close calls. There were a lot of struggles. There was some frustrating things with the referee. And they could have internalized it all and failed. And they didn't. They bounced back. They kept moving forward. They kept going. And they got the win.
But struggle through adversity and success despite the adversity.
Exactly. That you're able to go through it and still come out the other side.
Beyond the results, there have been several big storylines that have shaped this season. So, Kayla, why don't you walk us through your top storylines so far?
There's a few that come to mind. Jimmy and his influence and impact on the entire team. Mandy's importance and the entire defensive consistency. The attacking partnership between Chloe Lacasse, Mina Tanaka, and Kiana. And then how defensive the Utah team has become. So let's start with Jimmy. So the Royals come back to Utah, and they bring in a team legend with A-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a great player. She was not a great coach.
Well, it's her first real coaching experience. So,
she's very much a hothead.
It felt in a little bit like she was not given a fair
shake.
Yeah, maybe not a fair shake, but not set up for success.
Yeah. There were, and the players were fine, but the players felt like such a mishmash of whatever we could just grab.
There was a lot at the beginning that was rough, and unsurprisingly, we saw some pretty big shakeups in the front office and coaching staff.
Mid-season, A-Rod is fired, and Jimmy comes in. And right away, you can see his impact. You can see his influence on the team. They start to score. They start to tie. They start to win a couple. And then the season's over. And the next season comes in, and they acquire a few new people. They let go of some other people. There's a lot of switch around. And so that first half of that season is really rough again. And they're trying, and they're trying, and they're trying, and they're just not completing it. And then it shifts a little bit more. And you can see that his patience with the team, his philosophy of letting the girls play how they play and helping them become a team together is starting to pay off. And then it just absolutely flourishes through this season. And so he's such an interesting coach because he does obviously give a lot to the girls. But one of my favorite quotes from him was when he was like, I don't care what you do on the field. Just do what you do.
When he was talking about Mina?
Yeah.
He was like, Mina, I don't really care what you do. Just do what you do because I trust you.
Yeah. And then the fact that he's able to trust his teammate or his players, and he realizes hey, the best thing I can do is give them a little bit of guidance throughout the practices and then let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how they shine. Each of the girls, and he even talked about this when during the off season we did release Yanni Thompson, or we sold her to
or during the break.
Yeah, during the break. Sorry, yeah, during the midseason break. It's such a weird, like, long time.
Yeah, it does. It felt a little bit like a full season break.
Yeah, it was weird. So
yeah.
Yanni went back to London, or we sold Yanni to London, so that she can be closer to her partner, and because her partner just had a baby. And Miyabi kind of got put into the role that Yanni was in. And at first, everyone was like, oh my gosh, how is Miyabi going to replace Yanni Thompson and replace what Yanni did? Because Yanni did a lot for the team for this first half. But I love what Jimmy said, and he said, it's not about how does Miyabi replace Yanni. It's what does Miyabi bring to the team? And that's so important to see in your team, that every single player brings their own little spice.
Yeah.
Mandy defends goal very differently than Mia Justice. Anna and Narumi are very different midfielders. Chloe Lacasse is very different than Brecken Mazingo or Laura Prasnikar. Like, they're all very different in what they do, but they still contribute to the team. And so when you have all these different personalities, the way that he's able to bring them all together and still be cohesive no matter which combination is on the field at one time is second to none, in my opinion.
It's like he's just this general that has a perfect understanding of his players, of what he needs them to do, and he's able to just put them on the pitch and go, okay, you're going to be here, go do what you do. You are going to go here, go do what you do. He doesn't have to give those hyper-specific player instructions because he knows his team and knows that, oh, if I put this player in this position, this is going to be the outcome. If I put this player in this position, this is going to be the outcome. If I put these three players in this formation, this is what's going to happen. He knows it already, and he just trusts them to let it happen.
You can see it very obviously play out in the other two storylines that I said with Mandy McGlynn and the defensive consistency, as well as the attacking partnership or trio of Chloe, Mina, and Kiani. And even Cece Delzer. Like, you cannot discredit Cece for what she does. The disruption that she has on goalies and defense is second to none. But let's start with Mandy McGlynn and the defensive consistency. Because Mandy has played for most of the games. But also Mia Justice, when she stepped in, she stepped up. And she had an amazing first part of the season. And so the fact that Jimmy knows, hey, Mia plays a little bit differently, so I'm going to have my center backs act a little bit differently. Mandy is a little bit different than Mia, and so when Mandy comes back, the center backs do a little bit more. And I cannot talk enough about Kate the Great. She is our Iron Woman. I think that one of the games, I can't remember exactly which one it is right now, was the first time since she came to the Royals that she was subbed off.
That's just insane.
2.5 full seasons before she's subbed off. Before she doesn't start.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Just crazy.
And she has only grown. She started a little rocky at first, and some people like kind of doubted her. But she took that fuel and was like, hey, watch me. And then whenever Paige is not on the pitch, she's our captain because of how well she controls that back line. And Mandy, being the field general that she is, being able to see everything that's going around and direct the players with the defense, with the offense, and keep that pressure from getting into the goal is amazing. We have the fourth strongest defense in NWSL right now. Like, that's incredible.
That just kind of broke my brain there for a second. Just the fourth strongest defense in NWSL after last year being, I think, third from the bottom. that is such a huge turnaround. It just took my brain a second to process that because that's huge.
And you can see how much they did off the season as well as in practice to fix that. When they had those 8 conceded goals in the last 3 games, their entire practices were just about defense. And it paid off.
And I love seeing, like you said, Kate Delfava coming in kind of as a leader on the defensive side. My favorite part has been watching Mandy on the pitch. I love being close to the net where you can hear Mandy yelling and directing traffic. She is so good at that. It comes naturally to her. We talked about it with her. She loves to play that kind of role. My favorite thing to watch is a goalie that commands the pitch. I love watching it with Cabral. I loved watching it with Raimondo. I love a commanding goalie, and Mandy is that.
She's been one of my favorite players from the very beginning. She just the way that she carries herself, the way that she portrays herself on and off the pitch is just awesome. And she carries that with her. That's why her house becomes the house that they hang out at, is because she is that presence that draws everyone to her. And everyone relies on her and trusts her. And
that's important for a keeper.
And for her to have done as well as she did with the women, has been doing for the women's national team, and to finally get it in her club is my favorite thing this season.
I've been really impressed with Mandy, just truly. I love the expressions that she has during the match. I love how she never dwells on a mistake from either her or from the defense or from anyone on the pitch. She never dwells on that mistake for longer than is necessary to address it. They address the mistake, they encourage each other, and they get back to going. And that translates into good performances. And in the last match, translated into another shutout.
On the opposite side of the field is our core 4. Lacasse, Kiana, Cece, with Mina as a true 10. And everyone was talking about, Mina really, she did fine last year in the top. She's not a number 9. She is a number 10, and she is so good at playing a number 10. You look at our two top scorers are Chloe Lacasse and Mina Tanaka. But not only are they our top scorers, they're also our top assists. They have the same amount of goal contributions. And then Cece Delzer cannot be understated. The way that, like I said, the way that she disrupts defense and goalies has led to multiple goals. And Kiana, she takes so much pressure as that number 9 to where there is chances for Chloe to get goals. Where is there chances for Kiana to get goals? Or Narumi, she's able to pull the defense towards her and let others win. And
I think that goes to your point of when you were talking earlier about how there's so many different goal scorers. It's because there's so many different points of danger. Sometimes the defense doesn't quite know who to cover heavier. And then you see, like we talked about with Narumi, her position opens up because the defense is a little confused. They're going after the offensive players. And then Narumi does some very fancy footwork to get herself just a perfect opportunity. And maybe that doesn't happen if the defense just collapses on the ball instead of worrying about dangerous attackers. But the Royals have so many dangerous attackers, they get confused sometimes. You see it. You see them trying to cover, 2 defenders trying to cover 1 attacker while leaving 2 very dangerous attackers open. Or by covering all the attackers, you leave the defensive midfield open, and Narumi scores a world-class goal.
yeah, it's just been awesome.
For this special edition of our Royal Roundtable here at Boot Room 801, we're going to have 4 team awards that we're going to give out at this mid-season point. And the first will be our team MVP. Then we're going to go for our most improved player, and then our unsung hero, and wrapping it up with our biggest surprise. So Kayla's going to walk us through our choices for those players.
I don't think it's any surprise that my team MVP is Kate Delfava. You can't give it to anyone else with the Iron Woman that she is. The shutouts are, yes, they're very much because of the goalies, but they're also because of the defense and how many saves Kate Delfava has made with her fancy footwork cannot be understated.
And you can't really have those shutouts without like one or the other, without the defense or with the goalkeeper. They have to be working together. It's such a dependent relationship. If your goalie's doing well, it's going to mean that your defense is doing well. And Kate Delfava is a fan favorite, also a favorite here at Boot Room 801. Kate just is a fantastic player. And Kate, if you're listening, we love you.
Number 8, Kate the Great. That's what I got. Most improved player is Chloe Lacasse. Now, that's going to sound like a surprise because Chloe Lacasse is a world-class player.
And always has been.
And always has been. But when she came, she got injured. And then she played again. And then she only scored 1 goal last year in 12 games. She has 8 contributions in the last 15 games. Because we put her in the right system with the right people and let her do her thing. And she is tenacious. She is chippy. She is powerful. And she is willing to get behind any defense and mess them up.
It really is something special to watch. I love watching her just hammer down a field.
Yeah.
She has such tenacity in the way that she plays. And honestly, like when she's running down the field and I'm on the side trying to get a photo, it's a little intimidating. And that's like, I'm not even on the field. Like I don't have to challenge her, but she has such focus and like determination on her face. It's intimidating. And then she has the skill to back it up.
Yeah.
Like anybody can get on the pitch and act tough, but Chloe can back it up.
Exactly. No, she's awesome.
So that takes us to our unsung hero.
I've kind of talked about her a lot this time, and that's Cece Delzer. I mean, I can think of at least 2 goals, if not 3, that the goalie tries to give it to their defender, and she just goes right in there and grabs it and gives it to Mina or Rumi or Chloe and just pops it in there. So many times that she's like in the way and disrupting and supporting, and so many things that she's able to do is just awesome.
Yeah, it's just very impressive. Cece is a wonderful player to watch. You know, she may not get the accolades from stats and whatnot, but she definitely deserves them.
Yeah, that's why she's my unsung hero.
And now take us to your biggest surprise.
For me, it was Rumi. It was Narumi Miura. And Narumi was my biggest surprise because she's played with other teams and gotten like a goal here, maybe a goal there. She doesn't have a lot of goals on her sheet. She has 2 goals and 2 assists for us. She is able to read a pitch better than almost anyone else. She's able to be wherever she needs to be. If Anna goes forward, she stays back. If she goes forward, Anna stays back. She disrupts things, and so it throws people off, and the defenders don't know what to do, and so then she's able to make goals. And so it's so cool to see, and she has some crazy saves too. Being able to have that slide in that one where she just like pops it out of the way.
Yeah.
So good. So good. That's so hard to do. And yet she does it. And she is my biggest surprise because she's able to just flip it on a dime.
Yeah. And seeing her come into this system and take to it so quickly and come into this roster and befriend them so quickly. And, you know, there's a little bit of language barrier issues that happen on this team where there's so many different backgrounds and languages represented. You wouldn't be able to tell if you just, like the view from 1,000 feet. If you're looking at it maybe as a casual fan or a new fan, maybe you wouldn't be able to guess that a lot of these players don't speak the same languages and maybe have like a common grasp of English, but maybe don't feel super comfortable in it. And, from what we've experienced in press conferences, maybe there should be a little bit more confidence in their English skills because I think they're better than they think they are. But they don't allow that to be an excuse to not get to know each other, trust each other, and depend on each other.
Yeah. It's been awesome to see.
Yeah, it comes out as a group of people who are a family. Mm-hmm. And I know we say that in sports all the time, and a lot of times it's a very dysfunctional family of a sports team, but the Royals just doesn't feel that way.
It's a very cohesive sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So we've talked a lot about how we've gotten to this point with the Royals now sitting at 7-3-4 with 24 points, 21 goals scored so far this season, 16 goals allowed, so a +5 goal differential. So great position. We've talked about how we got here. Where can we go from here? That's the biggest question. So looking ahead, what do we expect before this season ends, which there's a lot of soccer to be played. Before we get back to the episode, make sure you're following Bootroom 801 on social media for the latest Utah soccer news, match day coverage, photos, videos, and more. You can also find all of our articles and content at bootroom801.com. And if you're enjoying the show, follow the podcast on your favorite podcast platform and take a moment to leave us a rating and review. It helps more Utah soccer fans discover the show. The best way you can support us is by sharing this episode with a friend, a family member, or anyone else who loves the beautiful game here in Utah. Now let's get back to the show. Looking ahead to Saturday and then on to the rest of the season, what are your thoughts? Let's start with Saturday.
Yeah, so Saturday is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be against North Carolina, and we're going to be in Carolina. And they are on a 2-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a win streak. Well, on a win, riding high on the win. They're number 8 in the table. We're number 5, but we have 27 points over their 21.
Mm.
So it's a big game because we want to keep that momentum going. It's very doable. The last time we played them was last season, and we beat them, or it was a tie 1-1. We've only beat them once in the last 2 years, but we have a much better roster than we did the last 2 years. We have a much better depth. We have much better momentum.
And a team that's gelling a lot better.
Exactly. So I have a lot of hope for this. Everyone's in pretty good form right now. And so it's very, very possible. Utah definitely needs to work on finishing the ball. There were a lot of amazing passes in the Orlando game. There weren't as many shots as there could have been. Mm-hmm. So that definitely needs to be adjusted.
Do you think they need to work on getting more shots on target or being less unselfish with the ball?
That one. They're a little too unselfish. They're a little too, pass the ball to each other. They need to just take the shot.
Waiting for that one more pass.
Uh-huh. And I think that if they can do that, then they have the chance to score a ton. Keep the defense tight. Defense is pretty good right now, so I think we just keep them tight. Keep everyone healthy. Saturday is the start of another 3-game week, so definitely want to there's probably going to be some rotation. There's probably going to be some changes to make sure that everyone is healthy for all 3 games. But I have a lot of hope for the game against the Courage.
It should be a good matchup. It should be a fun match to watch. I'm looking forward to it. I think that the Royals have a track record of maintaining momentum. Mm-hmm. And here's hoping that the Royals can mirror the beginning of the season and go from 2 losses to 10 games unbeaten.
Yeah, exactly. What is your prediction for the match?
I think my prediction is going to have to be based off of how it's how I think the Royals are going to be able to maintain momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I think the defense is going to be able to maintain their high standards, and Mandy is going to be able to lead that defensive charge. I'm going to say probably a 2-0 win for the Royals.
I wanted to say the same thing. I'm going to say 3-0.
You're going to go
Got one up, yeah. I do think that our defense has a really good standing right now. Miyabi is in a lot better shape. She's coming off of that injury, and she's doing really, really well. And she's kind of finding her own groove. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think. I think it's going to be 3-0.
I'm really just hoping for a Mina Tanaka goal.
Yeah, another one.
I want to see another one. I mean, everybody who listens knows I love Mina Tanaka. She's my favorite player, and she was my favorite women's player before she came to the Royals. Followed her for a long time, and I just want to see more goals from her. I want to see more in person too, so hopefully she can keep a scoring streak going, bring it back to Sandy so I can watch it.
Yeah. Well, and it's exciting because Saturday is an away game, but then Wednesday and Sunday are both home games. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of home games coming up.
That's a lot of matches in not a lot of time.
Yeah, there's still 8 more home games.
I love that. I love the World Cup. I've really enjoyed watching the World Cup. It's been so much fun. I am so happy to be watching soccer locally again with RSL and with the Royals. I just love being there. Mm-hmm. I don't care who we're playing. As long as it's a Utah team playing, I am happy to be there. And especially this iteration of the Royals is just fun to watch.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before. This is the perfect time to go watch a Royals game. They are hot right now. And how cool will it be to say that you were there at the beginning? Mm-hmm. You were there when they were struggling, and you were there when they were shining. This is the perfect time to go see them. And the tickets are so affordable. Their tickets are so worth it, too. Mm-hmm. The supporter section is always super fun to be in.
Yeah.
They have a whole drum line right now. It's so much fun to listen to.
Yeah. It's like a sleeper value. Like, not to get like too sales pitchy, but it's like,
I'm going to be full sales pitchy. I think everyone should go to the Royals games.
Yeah. And like, I guess what I mean more by that is like, I don't want to focus so hard on like the pricing and the affordability, but like really there's such a good value for what you pay for. It is an incredible experience. It is so much fun. If you are on the fence about going to a Royals match, go. Do yourself a favor. You will thank yourself later. Go find us, say hello to us. We tend to hang out around the north end, so you can see us kind of before match, post match. But we are just so excited to be there and can't wait to see y'all there.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's so many games that are available, and I know that it's kind of frustrating to figure out how to watch the game sometimes, but we try really hard to be as accurate as possible. NWSL doesn't have something like Apple, and it feels like a lot like MLS before Apple TV.
Yeah, where it
MLS
was difficult
is really
to find.
hard to find. However, it's still worth it to find it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is that if you're not able to watch it, KSL Sports always color commentates the games, so you can always listen to it at least. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that you can do to support the local teams,
and there's watch parties.
And it's so worth it to go to.
And speaking of the watch parties there, if you are not following the Throne on social media, shout out to the Throne. That is the supporters group for the Royals. If you are looking for a watch party or even just help trying to find where to watch the match, they are a great resource.
And they post all the time about where they're meeting.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to be a part of the community and help build the community, that is how you do it. So go check them out. So looking forward to the rest of the season, Kayla, where do you think the Royals can land realistically? Like, what are your hopes? Do you think they're playoff bound? Do you think they are a cup contender this year?
100%. I think that they can absolutely make the playoffs, and I think that they are a cup contender. We were number 1 for a little bit. We're now number 5, but we're still right smack in the middle of playoffs, and that's perfect.
And
I think that we're still going to be the top 5.
Yeah, how tight is that competition where 2 losses takes you from 1st to 5th?
Oh, it's so close. From the 1st to the 8th, there is 9 points. And from 1st to 5th, there is 3 points.
So what do you think the biggest obstacle for the Royals is to get over the hump Royals haven't made the playoffs before in this iteration. What is it going to take to get them over that line and then to put them into a cup final?
Yeah. Jimmy and the players have talked about this a lot, and it's staying true to themselves, to get back to them. When they had that rough little bit, this coming back from the break, the entire thing they kept saying is we need to get back to us, get back to who we are. And if they stay true to who they are, they're going to shine for the rest of the season.
And it really is true. If they can keep it going, if they can trust each other, rely on each other, and capitalize on this closeness that the team has, because it's not just the players, it's also the players and the staff. If that secret sauce can be leveraged, yeah, we're going to see a pretty far playoff run and possibly a cup run.
Yep.
So where would you lock in your prediction? You think they're cup bound or finals bound?
I do. I think that they absolutely have the potential for that. I think that we'll probably end up 3rd on the table and then end up winning the cup.
I would love that. Let's put a star over that badge.
Get a star for each badge.
And let's put many stars over the badges. So really, one last question here before we wrap up. Do you think that success for the Royals has been redefined this season?
Yeah, because success is not just all of the games, it's how well they play and how well they play together. But then it also redefines what we can expect as success for the team. We're not just holding out for a draw anymore. We're expecting a win now. And that's a huge redefinition. I mean, I remember last year and 2 years ago where we were like, oh, well, at least we got a draw. Oh, well, at least we didn't blow it out. And now we're like, oh, no, we won. We can win this. We can keep doing this. And that is so exciting and hopeful and exhilarating to be a part of.
It really is. It's such a fun and special time to be around the Royals. We're just so grateful to have the Royals, and then to have a front office and a coaching staff and players who take it seriously and cherish it as much as we do. Mm-hmm. It's refreshing. It is just an honor to be a part of as a fan. For us, we try so hard to support women's sports and to be a part of such an incredible story. And we're so grateful to have the Royals here, where we have a local team to be a part of. We don't have to pick a team from states away and try and support them from afar. We have a team here, a good team here, players on the team who are from here. It's so special.
It really is.
So, Kayla, any final thoughts?
Come on, you Royals.
Well, I'll echo that. Come on, you Royals. Well, thank you all out there for listening. Thank you for supporting the Boot Room. You can find us, as always, at bootroom801.com or bootroom801 across all social media. You can find us wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Please take the time to review and rate and really help us boost the show. and get more support onto the Royals. We will have our RSL midseason recap coming up soon. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and we will see you next time.
Okay, bye.